Yes, I'm wearing a hat indoors because that's how cold it is, but today what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at all the different seedlings that have germinated and which ones I'm going to be moving into tin cans for the windowsill. So I have a lot of herbs in here, I have some veggies, there's nothing in here which is a tea, but I'm going to show you everything which has started popping up and now really just needs moving into a bigger tin can so then it can grow in the window and it's easy and accessible for me to harvest. So these are growing really well. I know I'm going to mispronounce it, but radicchio, I don't know. Chives are starting to come up. I'm going to leave these to get a tiny bit bigger before I transplant them. The spinach desperately needs moving. They're starting to get quite tall and leggy. And then things like the Mizuna is obviously doing very well. If there was one plant I would say is absolutely fantastic for windowsill gardening, or at least lettuce type thing, it's Mizuna. It's got a little bit of a peppery kick to it. It's a nice salad green, and yes, my nails are filthy because I've been digging outside. Welsh onions are also a great one, but I am going to leave these to get a tiny smidge bigger. And then things like the Chinese chives, I just want them to get a tiny bit bigger as well. You can see them just starting to poke out. And then things like the greyhound lettuce, this isn't really for indoors, this is more for outdoors, but I will try and grow one indoors. So these are all going to get moved into bigger pots. I'm going to start off with the spinach, and this is one of the reasons why I love doing this in all ice trays. And let's have a look. I will pick out this one because look, you can just push the bottom and it comes out in a nice, neat little block. I'm going to grab everything on top of it and look at that. It just comes out as a neat, nice little cube. It isn't too root bound. You can see the roots at the bottom, but then it's easy to just take this and pop it in a larger pot. And it was easy. I didn't break the case. Nothing got damaged while trying to move it. It comes out in a nice little cube and they're fantastic. I am going to break this up a tiny little bit because I don't want it just all stodged in the middle. So what I am going to try and do is make an absolute mess. And I'm actually just going to pop most of this straight on the table because I don't care. And then I'm going to take this cube and I'm going to try and break it up very, very carefully, just to kind of break it up into two chunks, because I'm worried that otherwise these are going to be way too close together. They're going to be competing for nutrients, and to a certain degree they're going to be competing for nutrients anyway, because this is such a small environment for them. But I just don't want them to be quite so close together, so I'm going to very gently separate them, and then I'm going to move all that soil, which I took out, back in there and try and just press it very lightly to give them a bit of support, because I don't want them to just flop around. They still need to be upright. Good, and done.